Obesity is not a choice. People with obesity are living with a disease, not a choice, and it comes with physical, mental, and emotional hurdles. It's time to address misperceptions, eliminate stigma, and imagine a better future for people navigating this disease. People with obesity deserve comprehensive care. The first step, acknowledging and understanding the disease. There are multiple causes of obesity, including biological, genetic, behavioral, environmental, social, and cultural factors. Like many chronic diseases, obesity has a significant impact on the person living with it and on the people around them. And like other long-term diseases, people with obesity need diagnosis, screening, and intervention to implement evidence-based care and support. Obesity is a matter of health. Shame has no place in it. We are on a mission to change the narrative about obesity from one of shame and blame. Health isn't about the weight you lose, it's about the things your body can gain. Now, this is a piece of literature that Eli Lilly, the manufacturers of Tirzepatide, Mounjaro, have put on their website, and it's something that people need to take note of because obesity is a disease. It's not always just people's choices. So I wanted to go through some of the literature from Eli Lilly, the people that make Mounjaro. Just sometimes it's easy for someone to just go through the main bits for people to take away from rather than reading all through it themselves. And let's face it, who really reads through everything when they get a new drug or a new medication? You might look at the adverse reactions and think, oh, I'm having all of them. That's what people tend to do, isn't it? But I'm going to go through a few of them today and hopefully help you to make wise choices about what you want to do. So the indication and usage of Mounjaro is written. It's a glucose-dependent insulinotropic polypeptide, known as GIP, receptor, and glucagon-like peptide, a GLP-1 receptor agonist, indicated as an adjunct to diet and exercise to improve glycemic control in adults with type 2 diabetes mellitus. But it's also been passed for use for the same reasons for people who are obese, and they have to meet certain criteria for that obesity, such as a BMI. Certain BMIs, and around the world it differs, but it is licensed now for obesity and to help with weight loss. But you need to exercise, as it says here. The dosage, and a lot of people like to make their own minds up on this, but the recommended dosage following research is as follows. The recommended starting dosage is 2.5 milligrams injected subcutaneously once a week. After 4 weeks, you increase to 5 milligrams. And after that, if additional glycemic control is needed, increase the dosage in 2.5 increments after at least 4 weeks on the current dose. The maximum dose is 15 milligrams. Still once a week, still subcut or subcutaneously into the skin. It's important to add that you do change the sites, and those sites are into the abdomen, the fatty tissue, into the thigh, or for somebody else to inject the fatty area at the back of the arm, at the top of the arm. Some important things to note about Mounjaro. If you've got a family history of any thyroid carcinoma, cancer of the thyroid, or throat cancer of any sorts, then you shouldn't really be taking it. And also if you have an allergy to any of the ingredients in Tirzepatide or Mounjaro, don't take it. So the warnings and precautions on the labels are pancreatitis, which have been reported in clinical trials, and it's advising to discontinue if you have any signs or symptoms of pancreatitis. Hypoglycemia, where your blood sugars drop, obviously to stop them. It's advising not to take Mounjaro if you're insulin dependent. There is some grey areas around the insulin. Most doctors that I'm aware of will not or advise strongly against using Mounjaro if you're on insulin, if you're type 1 or insulin dependent diabetes. This is something for you to discuss with your doctor if you feel that you really need to be on it. It's not contraindicated as a lot of people initially thought, but it is strongly cautioned against. One of the main concerns is hypersensitivity reactions, and basically reactions such as if you have anaphylaxis or severe reactions that's going to cause you harm to this type of medication. Don't even think about taking it. The next one here is acute kidney injury. So you're advised to monitor renal function in patients with renal impairment especially. This is why you're advised to drink lots of water, drink plenty of water, a minimum of 2 to 3 litres a day. Some of the mild side effects include things like nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. These are things that are going to cause you to lose fluids. And if you do become dehydrated, the nature of this medication can have an effect on your kidneys. So it is very important to keep an eye on that and try and hydrate where you can. Another one on the list is acute gallbladder disease, which has occurred in clinical trials. If it's suspected, gallbladder studies and clinical follow-ups are indicated. So if you've got any sign of any gallbladder disease, any pain up in your top epigastric, more to the right side, if you've got pain there, severe pain, it's not going away, you need to get that checked. You might need to come off them. Listen to what your body's telling you, basically. Any pain that's not going away, if you've got the odd bellyache, that can be normal, and we'll get onto the basics soon. But if you've got any severe signs and symptoms of anything that you're concerned about, it needs checking out, especially on medication like this. This is a great medication if it's used properly and if it works for you, but sometimes we need to admit if something's not right for us. So just listen to what your body's telling you, because that's vitally important. I know people really want to take these medications, but if it's not right, it's not right. And that said, as it says on here on Eli Lilly's site, the most common adverse reactions reported in greater than 5% of patients treated with Mounjaro are nausea, diarrhea, decreased appetite, vomiting, constipation, dyspepsia or acid type symptoms, and general abdominal pain. It's got some contact details on here if you want to report any suspected adverse reactions, and you can look that up. And as I say, I'll put the contact details for this in the descriptions box below. One of the effects that Mounjaro has, it delays gastric emptying, which means it slows down the food, or the chyme or chyme as it's called, coming out from the food, from the stomach. And this can have an effect on oral medication. The main one being contraceptive pills for the women. And it's important that you speak to the doctor about making sure you're on one that suits you. And whilst you're having a change of medication, if that's the case, to cover any eventualities. So use a backup plan alongside your contraception, because it can slow or delay greatly the effect it has on being absorbed into the system. This is something that I've mentioned on my last weigh-in video. This is a little chart of adverse reactions reported by Eli Lilly when they were doing the research into how Mounjaro works with the population that was chosen to do it. The figures are on of how many people were involved. It was thousands, and it was worldwide. People in South America, some of the Asian countries, and North America, none in the UK, were trialled. But I just wanted to go through the different doses. So if you look at this, the list on the left-hand side of the reactions, and they are the adverse reactions. On 5 milligrams, if you look at 12% of those people, for example, had nausea, going up to 10, 15%, and then 18% of those people on Mounjaro on 15 milligrams, were having nausea. So you look at the pattern there, and it hasn't got the 2.5s on this list. But it just goes to show that going up the doses shows the risk does increase, and obviously that makes sense. And it brings me back to where I've said to people in the past, and I wished I could be staying on the 2.5s, but I think because it's up and down for me, I will be going on to the 5s and hopefully staying there. But if 2.5 or the lower doses are working for you, really try and stay on them. And I've heard a little bit where people have said that their pharmacist has automatically put them on without speaking to you. Get into them first and tell them that you want to stay. There is no, and if they're telling you that you have to move up, there is absolutely no rules and regulations on having to move up. It's guidance. And if you want to stay on 2.5, or if you want to stay on 5 instead of going up to the 7.5, which isn't listed here, then you can, because 15 milligrams, you're opening yourself up to a lot of risks. And on 15 milligrams, I've seen some patients where they have been quite poorly, and I'm talking hospital poorly, to be honest with you. So this is a little bit of information. It's not gone concisely and comprehensively over the footage, but over the research, should I say. But I will put a link up there. Have a read if you're really worried. But I'm hoping just a little bit of what we've said today can just guide you in the right direction if you're trying to make a decision, or if you're just generally interested in what's happening with Mounjaro. But that'll do it for today. If you've got any questions, and if I can answer them, I will. If I can't, I'll find out and let you know, and I'll make a little video out of it. But I hope everyone's okay. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.